Adjusting entries is another name of adjusting journal entries. It is entries made in the general journal to record revenues that have been earned but not recorded, and the expense that have been incurred but not recorded. And we will cover four main scenarios today: deferred revenues and expense, and accrued revenues and expense. Deferred revenue is when cash is received before revenue. An example is subscription revenue. The following steps are how subscription revenue works, respectively in general journal and adjusting entries. And it has to be mentioned that the cash account should not be appear in the adjusting entries. I mean never ever. The general rule for this scenario should always be a deduction to the liability account and an increase to the revenue account. Accrued revenue is when cash is received after revenue. An example is service revenue. And the following steps are how service revenue works, respectively in general journal and adjusting entries. The general rule for this scenario should always be an increase to the asset account and an increase to the revenue account. Deferred expense is when cash is paid before expense. An example is insurance expense. And the following steps are how insurance expense works, respectively in general journal and adjusting entries. And the general rule for this scenario should always be a deduction to an asset account and an increase to an expense account. Accrued expense is when cash is paid after expense. An example is salaries expense. The following steps are how salaries expense works, respectively in general journal and adjusting entries. That's all about my screencast for adjusting entries, and thanks for watching.